thanks for sticking around until the last minute. And basically, this is the session that was originally in the program for yesterday. So you'll get a really personal insight now to Google Chrome and our developments in that area. My name is Philipp Karmires. I work with Google's new business development team. That's the team that's taking care of every new product launch, every new product that we bring to the market. We look for new partners in the beginning. We look for technology licenses as well as other special efforts around the product. And I'm part of the team who's supporting new initiatives. So I'll today talk about Google Chrome and how web technology and especially the Chrome Web Store as part of our Chrome technology changed the equation for game developers. So that's the scope. We'll go quickly so that you have some time for questions, and as it's quite late, I guess some of you maybe have a further appointment, so I'll try to wrap it up quite quickly. So let me kick it off, what we'll be covering today. What we're covering is Chrome and the web as a gaming platform. I'll give you some demos around it. It looks like the internet connection worked, so we should be able to see some live stuff. And Chrome and the web store to distribute your games. So who heard of Chrome Web Store before? Who has ever downloaded an app from Chrome Web Store? That's very good. So I won't do any education then around Chrome Web Store. We go straight into the details, what's important and what you should look after and what we are focusing on. So let me start. Before we go straight away, I just want to share you, since everything is in the browser, I want to share you quick some positive news that just happened last week. I don't know if you have seen that, but take the opportunity to share that German Federal Office of Information Security, the BSI, is officially now recommending Google Chrome as the only browser to be used in a Windows setup environment. So we're very proud about the recognition and the efforts that we've put into the product over the years to change the perception that was out in the market since its launch, especially in Germany, and we've done a lot of technical superior work which is now getting honored at a broader scope. So just want to highlight that on a quick note. So back to the presentation. So as I said, this will cover the web as a platform. And why is the web the platform for gaming? Why do we think it makes sense? It's quite easy. It's the biggest market out there. It's about 2 billion people, 2 billion potential players for games that are reachable via one unique technology stack, and that's a browser. So if you look at users that are out there, we'll cover a lot of Chrome stuff today, since Chrome is the browser that Google is pushing forward, and also one of the browsers that is setting the pace for everybody in the market on a technology side, as well as on a user UI side. So you have Chrome users in the web. You have Firefox users, IE users. Maybe let's do a quick quiz. How many of you use Chrome? Firefox? IE? What? Safari? Okay. And Opera. Okay, representing the market share that you also see in every stat, like there's a long tail usage for Opera and Safari, and the main users are with Firefox, IE, and partially migrating over to Chrome as their new default browser. But there's also a lot of mobile users out there also accessing the web via different sorts of browsers. Not necessarily one of these technologies, but sometimes. So yesterday we just, I don't know if you heard it or read it, yesterday we just launched the Chrome mobile browser for Android in a beta version. So it's out there. If you have an Android with ice cream sandwich, so one of the latest, you can use Chrome on your mobile device. It's quite nice. I like it. I've used it for a couple of weeks already, and I think you'll like it too if you have the latest Android. That's the caveat. But since a lot of Androids will be migrated, a lot of people will be able to use it, and we'll explore this further. So you have mobile users, but also, and don't forget, TV users. Nobody thinks about the TV users, but it seems like a lot of TV companies are building devices for users that haven't been thinking about surfing the web with the TV yet. So that's a market that's changing massively. So you'll see a lot of, I just was at CES in Vegas, and everybody was presenting the 3D TV as well as their web-enabled TV with applications on it, but also a browser sitting on top of the TV to surf the web. So there's another user base that you can access from a gaming perspective. So this is a big market opportunity. And part of the reason is because the web is changing the life. The web is focusing on 3 topics that humans are interested in: being more connected, being more social, and being more entertained. And gaming is a perfect fit to address all 3 of that. And the web is the perfect platform to help you to basically get that stuff delivered to your footstep or to the device that you carry around with you. So yeah, let's go to the next slide. Another interesting part about the web, probably everybody knows that already, but just to re-emphasize is distribution is extremely simple due to the technology, how the web stuff is built. You just need basically a URL to distribute. You don't need any physical stuff. You don't need to have a really heavy engagement. It's an easy way to bring a user to a service on a generic technical level. There are other questions to be asked and answered after that, but basically distribution is extremely simple. Due to that, people can distribute it quite easily. So that's why you have all the social interactions in any game, like in this Angry Birds score, where you have people like inviting their friends and family just to compete on a game. So they take care of the distribution. But still, discovered can be quite hard. There are a lot of games out there. A lot of companies are trying to play and promote their games on multiple platforms or on the web. And discovery, that's what we figured out, is getting really hard. So for a new game company that doesn't have a real big budget, it's hard to get the outreach. If you have some budget, we have experts like Mark who can give you an advice how to spend the budgets most wisely. But on the other side, it's really tough. It's a money game, and you can't survive if you're a new gaming company or a small gaming developer. And that's where we think there's an angle which we need to tackle. So a question that everybody is asking, like, how can I put it in stores? Like normal games were sold via stores. How can I put my web game in a store? I can put it on a social platform and hope for luck, for viral, hope to have the right friends, or maybe know Ashton Kutcher and he talks about it, but that's not the general approach that everybody is able to do. So how can I put it in stores as part of the distribution? That's what we ask ourselves and got asked. And I'll go into this after the demo break. So I'll give you a couple of examples on web technology, especially in Chrome, and how they're developing, what kind of possibilities they have. So let me get this started. So we'll talk about a couple of areas. I'll give you some live examples for some of the areas. So we have what's important for a game, graphics, the interaction, the user wants to explore the game, audio, how do you transport all the visual signals to the user, sensory data. A lot of the new MacBooks, especially the MacBook Pros, even have sensory data in there. So a lot of people only know that they can use their phone to tilt and to have a user interaction, but also a lot of heavy standard units have sensory data in there, which can be leveraged at some degree over gameplay, which people might have not thought about. Adaptive display technology, so you need to be able to leverage your game to any platform that's out there and adapt to the resolution as well as to the input of the user or interaction. And camera and microphones, last but not least, it needs to be important and taken care of that all resources that the machines that the user is accessing can be interacted with the web game, so that you can combine the technologies there and leverage the benefits. So I'll give you some examples around graphics, some specific ones. One nice example that I like is that you can do with web technology a lot of stuff that people normally don't think of initially. So offline and file system interaction is a very important stack. So when you think of a game, it's very beneficial for the player to download core assets to the local machine or to the local device, keep them available when somebody's offline. For example, when you're traveling, you're commuting, you're in a flanky connection mode, you need to be able to still hold the gameplay alive, not to break the user flow. Also, you should be able to store files then locally in a browser set, since you should be independent of the OS you're operating on, and be able to interact with these file system environments. So I'll give you an obvious demo. Let's see if it works. Yeah, Angry Birds, we won't play it, everyone knows it, but you see over down here, I'm firing this up the first time. So what it does, it's caching down the core components of Angry Birds onto this machine. Let's see if the caching starts, and then you'll see that it grabs all the files that it requires and puts them on the disk. So when you have a flanky connection, you can go back and resume the gameplay. If you have a flanky connection to download it, as I seem to have, you can't get the music's never stopping. So now it's downloading the version. So in the end, what it does, it puts really the whole game logic and a lot of the graphics onto the device. So when I play it and I enjoy it in the train and the connection breaks, I'm still able to save stuff, have my high score synced up again when I'm back when I'm back with a connection, basically. So I won't wait for the whole game to download, since it seems like the connection is quite slow initially. So, but you know the game, I won't demo it to you. Let's go back. Another interesting piece is high-end graphics in a browser. So we focus on something that's called WebGL. WebGL is basically OpenGL built on JavaScript. Since Chrome as an engine has a pretty strong experience and pretty good performance with JavaScript based on the V8 backend. That's the technical term for our backend, our JavaScript engine. We are able to handle JavaScript quite well. So you can have really rich experiences in the browser. And let me see if this awesome demo is working based on the connection speed that we just experienced. Otherwise, I'll let it buffer, and we'll go back to it and have a look afterwards. Any idea on the connection, or are you escaping the room? Get out of here. So he's getting the internet now in the box. I'll show you the demo later. We'll have time for demo. Last but not least, there are some functionalities which are not that sexy as the stuff that I'll show you in a second when it has loaded, but some really neat features. Imagine you have a game that's embedded in a website. Yeah, in this case, it's a demo site, and you have a video clip embedded. There's WebKit functionalities where you can trigger just with one button full screen mode. You just press F or Enter, and it just grabs this one item and puts it into full screen mode. Imagine you would program a game for a news website, and if people would like to play the game, you just post there, press F. If you want to play the game, you press F, and the game immediately pops up in the browser. So different ways of accessing games and technology on our desktop PC, and giving different opportunities of really short interactions with quite powerful tools. So since this has loaded, I guess the other stuff maybe also has loaded. So here you go. This is basically fully compiled in WebGL in real time in the browser, as you see. You can interact. Okay, you can have it start moving. You can say it should go into nighttime, and it's a nice demo. It has sound with it. The sound is coming from Angry Birds. Let's kill Angry Birds and hit the sound here. So you have sound. You can change the soundtrack. You probably hear a little bit of the sound, and you can stop animation and so on. But it shows you just from this demo case that there's quite some technology behind it, and there's quite some sexiness that can be put into web applications that nobody has been thinking before about. So that's one of the really unique stuff when you're looking at WebGL. Just as a note, I'll have a slide, one of the last slides, which has all the links on it. So if you want to take a picture of any slide, I'll recommend to just take one picture at the end, and you'll save yourself a lot of pictures and time. So full screen content. Last but not least, on the demo section, and that's where we're reaching out to the community is, and we have a component which is called Native Client. Native Client is part of Google Chrome, so you don't need to install anything. You don't need a plug-in anything. But it helps you and enables you to use your native C+ or C++ code to run basically inside the browser window. First, you're thinking, what's the purpose? If you just extrapolate, you basically have a runtime and a virtual machine, or you can call it a virtual machine, running on any machine, if it's a Windows, if it's a Mac, etc. And you could program a game that can be just deployed to any platform in C code, meaning you can access the infrastructure of the machine. So you would be able to leverage hardware acceleration, graphics accelerations, as well as all the components that the machines offer, which is a lot of benefits when you look at classical game development. Native Client is definitely something you should be looking at. There's a URL, go NACL, and we are reaching out right now. It's brand new. It's completely compatible with Unity. So we're working close with Unity to get a portability going so that you can have a Unity game easily deployed in Native Client to leverage the platform that we offer as an additional distribution channel to the work that you've already done. But as I said, I'll repost the link in the last slide. So back to the store question that we left off before I showed the Angry Birds music with the fancy graphics demo. So you've built a game, now what? Our answer, the store, Chrome Web Store. Chrome Web Store is especially built to help small developers with unique and technology-wise quite wise applications and quite powerful applications to get additional distribution and to reach out to the market in parallel to all the big studios that are out there that of course are also, we're more than happy to host them on the web store. So why does the Chrome Web Store make sense? Chrome as a browser has 200 million active users. That's a stat of October last year. We'll probably revise that soon. We're looking forward that the number maybe has grown a little bit. So it's a very good base for you to attract new users to promote applications and games. And it's a direct channel built into Chrome. So when you have Chrome, as I do, and you open a new tab, the Chrome Web Store is in every new tab. And all the games that you want to install or you've basically downloaded from the Chrome Web Store. Chrome Web Store looks like this. I'll show it later to you. And so all the games that you've downloaded from the Chrome Web Store are also sitting there. So it's quite easy for you to access them. When you think about that, 200 million active users in front of their, or they're sitting in front of the desk or in front of their browsers, and your game can be easily put in front of them, it's a very powerful tool. We help you on the distribution piece. So I'll show you the Chrome Web Store at the end, where you can basically plug in your application into the web store, and we'll promote it, we'll feature it, and we'll help you to get it out there. Common question is about featuring. How do I get featured? What do I need to do? There's obviously a pull from the market, so games that people really want to play and have a lot of users automatically get pushed up and will be featured. But on the other side, we and our editors are looking into games that really push the barrier from a technology side. So if you have a really HTML5 heavy application, if you're really looking into offline, if you have done stuff that nobody else has done before, please feel free, reach out to me, even if you're one person gaming company. We're really keen to feature you, to give you the top spot if it's something that is really pushing the bar, because we are interested here to push the bar further to help the whole ecosystem grow. But the Chrome Web Store holds also a lot of other benefits for you as a game developer. You can have your own space, basically your own marketing environment where you can educate the users about the gameplay, but also about the rules of the game, payment methods and everything, giving some more details, and interact on a review basis. So you can collect reviews, you can learn how to make the game better, and you can respond and communicate with everybody out there using Chrome and willing to give you a review on the application. So very, very powerful. One case study on this is what we figured out, and we took World Golf Tour as an example, is the stickiness is increasing with such an approach, because the application is just sitting in front of you, and it's easier for you to access this than typing in links or going via login cycles, and therefore people play more and more often. And that's an important piece when you consider about what the Chrome Web Store has in shelf for you. So how do I get on board? Getting on board is quite easy. It's 2 steps. There's step number 1 is the so-called app mater. Let's see if it loads. Show it later. The app mater is basically, you can also just Google it or go to the web store. It's basically a self-service, a simple self-service portal which helps you to create a package of your game, grab a logo and upload it into the store. And then you have a dashboard where you basically need to administer your payment cycles, everything around the game and the address and that stuff. So it's the upload dashboard. I'll show the links in the last page again in clear text. So anything else you need to consider? Yeah, if you want to get features, you should prepare for some nice icons to put into the dashboard, so that we can pick them and put them out to feature you if you're interested in getting featured, and if you're ready to handle the traffic that would create if you're on the front page. So these are just some details. Last but not least, you put something in a store normally to make some money. We are not driving this to make money ourselves. We're driving this to create the ecosystem, to push the bar higher, to show people what's possible with the browser. That's why we're quite liberal on this whole money and payment stuff. So when you look what kind of options we offer everything. So you can do payments up front, you can do trials, you can do monthly subscription, you can do annual subscriptions, and we only take 5% if you want to do a payment in the App Store. If you do it, because the 5% is more like symbolic for the operational costs that it takes us to maintain the system, the payment system mainly, and process the payments. But on the other side, it's just, if you compare it to any store out there, it's nothing. We do that because we think it makes sense to foster the whole and grow the whole ecosystem and the whole platform, Chrome as part of it, and also to show what in the future is possible. And that's why we basically are really easy on this. If you get them through the door without paying, so if you have a free app and you have a freemium model built in, we don't ask for any money. It's all yours, and that's where it belongs to, because we're just helping to make you accessible, get you additional reach, and that's what we're there for, and that's the main driver basically behind this. So it's a great opportunity for additional revenue, additional distribution, without giving money away for that. So some obvious questions that I tackle. A lot of people say, yeah, that's great, but I only have iOS games. I focus on iOS because people spend a lot of money for the great iPhone, and now obviously they are well educated, and they also pay money for apps. Since if you drive a Porsche, you're easy to buy some new rims or some accessories for the car because you already invested. Saying that, the iPhone is a great device like a Porsche, it is. So you have only iPhone games. So what does that mean? There's a solution for that. There are two options that we currently promote. It's called a low-level virtual machine, and there's a commercial one provided by Mandrill, where you can deploy your existing iOS app into their virtual machine, basically. The downside is that performance might lag a little bit based on the heaviness of the application, but you just need to try it out yourself. And then there's an open source alternative called Mscripten, which is based more on a community open source approach, also leveraging a low-level virtual machine on this. Another question, I only have Android games. Android as well, and especially the Galaxy Nexus, the last device, also a Porsche, and on the same level as an iPhone on the hardware side, as well as even on the software side from a UI perspective, so you should try that out. But if you have only an Android game, what should you do then? There's another solution. We have created something called PlayN. PlayN helps you to create, basically, you have a games abstraction library based in Java, which you can deploy in different environments. You can create an HTML5 app out of it, or game, a Java, Android, or even Flash. So it's a nice way to write it once and deploy it at several environments. So that's something you should definitely explore further if you're interested in deploying your Android app into another platform. Almost the last slide. So if you want to take a picture, that's the time. Here are all the codes that you need to know from a developer perspective mainly. If you're interested in working with the Chrome Web Store, these are the links. The second one is the shortcut for the AppMater application. Probably the SAM piece will vanish, but this is the one that's currently out there. It's currently the beta version, which you can easily use. We'll make a more public announcement and statify it, but if you want to try it out already, please go and try this one out, as well as Go Native Client and the other technical resources. So to end it, our approach is quite simple. We say we've seen the future, and the future is clearly in the browser. And I'd like to show off a picture just from my daughter. She has also seen the future just recently, and it was also in a Chrome browser. So thanks for your time, and have a nice evening. Thank you. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. It's a good question. So what we've done initially, the Chrome Web Store wasn't promoted at all. So we didn't have it on the first page, and there the conversion was quite low because people really needed to search for it, really get told there is something out there. We've seen a quite uptake since we've put the Chrome Web Store as part of the core apps on your on your start screen. And this is since a couple of, I think, months since we've done that with one of the latest releases of Chrome. Since we've seen a quite uptake. So we've seen several of applications going into the millions of users and the millions of activations. Before that, it was only a few. So there's some uptake, and we'll probably promote it even further with especially Chrome OS, the operating system that we're also working on, also being more or less in stealth mode. So we don't talk a lot about it. We focus on iterating it. Being Chrome Web Store being a core part of Chrome OS and the laptops and devices that are coming out as being the software distribution platform for these. So you'll see a lot of growth, but it's in the early stage. That's why I'm here with the new business title. So we're still exploring and trying to accelerate it. But on the other side, we'll also develop quite heavily to make it smoother, change the UI, make the payment easier, and make it more friendly for existing games to arrive in the web store. Thanks. Any more questions? So have a nice evening, everybody. Thank you.